If the Nord Stage 4 looks overwhelming the first time you power it on, this video is for you. The Nord Stage 4 is only confusing until you understand one thing. It's built around layers, not old school patch logic. Once that clicks, the whole board starts to feel obvious. If you are staring at those 7 faders right now, wondering how you're supposed to build a setlist, run a split, or just get through a gig without embarrassing yourself, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have a working piano and a organ split on this board. You'll know exactly how the layer architecture works. And you'll understand why, once it clicks, this instrument is faster than anything Nord has ever made. Also, if you stick with me till the end, I'll play you out on one of the Elevation's worship songs using the relevant sounds. Let's get into it. The Nord Stage 4 is Clavia's latest flagship, at least as of today, which is March 2026. It is built to be true all-in-one board for live playing and studio work at the same time. You get very realistic pianos and organs plus a serious capable synth in one simple front panel workflow. At a high level, it is split into 3 sound sections that you can layer or split across the keyboard. Piano section, you get 2 independent piano layers with 2 gigabits of dedicated memory. It covers grands, uprights, electric pianos, claves, harpsichords and mallet sounds like maribas. It also adds modeling like string resonance and pedal noise when you use a compatible triple pedal, so it feels more like the real instrument. Then we have the organ section. You get 2 independent organ layers. It covers B3 with a B3 bass mod plus Vox Farfisa and 2 pipe organ models. You also get physical drawbars with LED graphs so you can see your settings instantly and grab the sound fast on stage. And then you have the synth section. This runs the Nord Wave 2 engine and gives you 3 independent synth layers. You can combine virtual, analog, FM, digital wavetables and samples for big multi-timbre sounds. There is 1 gigabit for the Nord sample library, plus a solid arpeggiator with polygate and pattern modes. What makes it stand out per layer effects. Each piano and synth layer gets its own full effects section. That means you can build proper sound chains per layer with things like tremolo, delay, chorus, amp, sim, EQ and reverb without compromising. So everything can be customized to your liking. The keyboard, it has triple sensor keyboard, first time in the Nord Stage series, with aftertouch, so it tracks your playing very accurately and re-triggers quickly. Hands-on workflow. Every layer has a physical volume fader with an LED graph, so mixing layers is quick and you always know where things sit. Seamless transitions. When you change programs, sustaining notes keep ringing, so transitions feel smooth. Extend mode turns into a strong master MIDI controller for external gear and software. Morph lets you tie multiple parameters like volume, filter and effects to one control like the mode wheel or a pedal, so you can shape sounds in real time. That was a high-level view. Let's start with the architecture. Because once you understand how Nord has thought about this board, everything else becomes logical and falls into place. The Stage 4 moved to what they call a layer-based system. Every instrument section, organ, piano, synth, has its own dedicated set of physical LED faders. 2 for organ, 2 for piano, and 3 for the synth-engine. 7 faders in total, all physical, all monitorized, all visible on a dark stage. The philosophy is one physical control for one function. There are no hidden menus for your live mix. And what you see on the panel is what's happening in your sound. Let me demonstrate exactly what that means. I'm going to disable every section enable button on the panel one by one, so we start from a completely blank state. Nothing active, nothing makes sound. I'm playing, but there's nothing. Now, I will activate just one piano layer. Notice how the LED fader gives you immediate visual feedback on your volume. You don't look at the screen, you don't look at the light. On a dark stage, at the third song of a service, when in your ear mix is unpredictable and the floor is vibrating, that distinction matters more than any spec sheet will ever tell you. That design logic runs through the entire instrument. Once you trust it, you stop fighting it. Let's build on it. Before we build our split, let's talk about sounds, specifically the difference between a program and a preset, because this is where most people get confused early on. A preset is a single sound living inside one of the instrument engines. On the other hand, a program is the full saved state of the board. All your layers, your split configuration, your effects routing, all of it captured as a single snapshot you can recall instantly. Right now, we are working at the preset level. I'm scrolling through the Node piano library to find our upper zone sound. I'm going with the Royal Grand 3D. It has the right weight and clarity for a live mix. It doesn't need much processing to cut through either. Quick pause here, because I know some of you are watching this because the manual has 100 or 500 pages and you just need to play something on Sunday. I've put together a free resource, the Node Stage 4 10-point setup checklist. It covers the exact settings that matters most when you are configuring this board for live use. Output routing, pedal polarity, and the setlist workflow workaround for the missing song mode. Everything condensed in a single page. The link is in the description of this video. It's free. Grab it now and keep it open alongside this video. Let's build the split. I'm holding down the split button here on the panel, just turning anti-clockwise the program button, and you can see now an LED is showing me where the split point is. I've selected the mid split point using the corresponding soft button, and then I turn the program dial until it reads F3. We turn the piano section on, which is already on. You press the octave shift here, and this is showing you the keyboard zone that this engine is assigned to. If I press the shift and keyboard zone, I can move left or right. You use the shift button to select the keyboard zone. In my case, it's already on the upper keyboard zone, which is going to be from this splitting point onward. My piano is assigned. Now, obviously, in our case, we selected the Royal Grand 3D. Now, for the lower zone, which is going to be here, let's say we're going to select the organ. I turn the organ section on, and you can see from the start it's also assigned to the upper zone, so we need to move that to the lower. Just shift and then left, and one more time and it goes to the left side or to the lower zone. Now we know for certain that the organ is assigned to the left and the piano to the right of the splitting point. Now we will select the B3 organ. The B3 LED is on. Now we need to pull the first three drawbars, 16, 5 and a third and 8, we pull them all the way out. That means it gives them the equal value of 8. So you can see the LEDs are on now. And now we push the remaining 6 drawbars from 4 until 1 all the way in, or up in our case, which equals value 0. Let me change the splitting point 1 octave higher. Let's move it to, yeah, to F3. I think is better. So as you can see, there is an abrupt change between the splitting points. So here it's organ, immediately on the right side it's the piano. So I want to have a split crossfade, an X fade. So in order to set the X fade, it's very straightforward. +6 means gives you a fade over 6 steps, +12 gives you a fade over 12 semitones. So this is a 12 semitones crossfade. So once you change that, the color of your LED will change from green to yellow for 6 semitones crossfade, or red for 12 semitone crossfade, confirming that the crossfade is active. So it's only here when you have no organ at all. So this is the split point, and it's only here when you have no organ at all. But listen to it, how it sounds. So smoothly you get such a smooth transition. So let's go a bit quieter with the organ. So the upper zone, we had the Royal Grand from the piano library. Lower zone, we loaded the B3 simulation tone wheel. This is the classic tone wheel organ. The sound of the virtual heavy gospel, jazz and rock recording you've admired since 1960s. That's that full, thick, fundamental, heavy registration. As you've heard it before, the piano gently fades in as the organ fades out across a small zone of keys around the split point. It's natural, it's seamless. So around the split point, both right and left. This is the difference between sounding professional and sounding like you're fighting your own instrument in front of hundreds or even thousands of people. Let me play something through this complete split so you can hear the full picture. That is a working gig ready split, built in under 10 minutes. There's one more thing I want to show before we close out. Because if you've ever heard a worship set or a polished live show where the piano was sitting inside something enormous, something atmospheric, and you thought, how is that piano in that kind of space? What you are hearing was this. So I'm bringing in a pad underneath the piano sound. This is the Stage 4's Wave 2 synth-engine. What you're hearing is a custom patch I built, a 3-layer wavetable and an analog hybrid built from scratch on this board. It lives in the piano with patch library. And I'm not going to walk through how I built it in this video, not because I'm holding anything back, but because building this from the ground up, from raw oscillator waveforms through 3 independent synth layers, and the ladder filter is an entire lesson on its own. That lesson is inside the Pianord Academy. If you want to learn the synth techniques to build evolving pads like this from scratch, or if you simply want to download this exact patch file and use it immediately, that is what we do inside the Academy. The link to join the waiting list is in the pinned comment below. Let's recap what we covered today. You understand the layer architecture now, why Node moved to dedicated LED faders, and why that decision actually makes live performance faster once you trust it. You got a working grand piano and a B3 organ split with a smooth crossfade, and you've heard what the Stage 4 synth-engine is capable of when it's used properly. If this was useful and you are new here, please subscribe. There's more depth coming every week, and I'd rather you hear it here than dig through the manual alone. Grab the free 10-point setup checklist using the link in the description. It picks up exactly where this video leaves off. The output routing and few other things I didn't have time to cover today are in there. And if you already know you want to go farther, if you want the synth tutorials, the patch library, the community of people who take this instrument as seriously as you do, the direct link to join the Pianord Academy waiting list is in the pinned comment. We're close to launch. The founding member window will be limited and will close. I'll see you in the next one. I'll now play you out.